And we opened the show there with some direction from our new program director, Nick, and that was a song from his record collection, and we'll discuss the quality of his music choice next week. Anyway, Buds, is this the Hawks One-Eyed View program, or is this the Hawks We Love Port Adelaide and Brisbane Lions program?
This week, mate, it is definitely the Hawks We Love Brisbane and Port Adelaide program. What a result.
Good week for the Hawks in terms of other results, and I just want to propose a new rule for the show, gentlemen, and in light of Joe Watson's confession on the Couch on Monday night, from here on in, on this show at least, Sam Mitchell shall be referred to as Brownlow medalist Sam Mitchell.
Don't you mean joint Brownlow medalist?
I've never heard a commentator refer to a player as a joint Brownlow medalist during the course of a game, but as long as we can squeeze in the words Brownlow medalist every time we refer to Sam Mitchell, I think that's only fair.
Don't you refer to Nathan Buckley as a joint Brownlow medalist? Because I don't believe he deserved that one.
No, I'm sort of more thinking in terms of how a commentator would pronounce the man during the course of a game.
Fair enough. But scores,
mate. We had Hawthorn 19-9-123 defeating West Coast 16-7-103.
What a game.
Oh, mate, that first quarter especially, 6 goals aside, it was barely a mistake, mate. It was just top footy by both sides, and that sort of set the tone for the match, and it was like that for most of the game. And I think we're probably the only side that would have beaten West Coast because they were on fire.
What was that, Fast and Furious 10?
They're up there somewhere by now.
Just the ball movement was superb.
It was indeed. Yeah, from my viewpoint, it was like watching a tennis match because I was right in the wing and it was back and forth 100 mile an hour.
Adam, a few blokes went missing though.
Well, I thought we got beaten up in the ruck a bit. I just want to add to my Sam Mitchell comment by any time we talk about Andrew Embley on this show from now on, if we ever have to, he should be referred to as knees.
Dog at Embley.
Pretty low, wasn't it? Obviously, Ben Stratton said something to him that he didn't like. Look, I thought the Hawks were pretty good. Aside from being beaten up in the ruck, I thought Bailey did a reasonable job. I thought Hale was pretty ordinary, and that sort of set us back foot a little bit. We did rebound well through the course of the evening off half-back, and we got smashed in the clearances as we did against Carlton and still got the point, so that looks good for the rest of the season.
Did Brett Sewell play?
Didn't see him. Apparently he did.
Wasn't sighted. Would you like some goal kickers, Grant?
It'd be a superb idea, Bards.
All right, so we had 5 to the big rough, 5 to my mate Gunstall, 3 to Bruce, 2 to Franklin in what was a ripper game from the man, 2 to Savage, very impressed with his game back, and singles to Simpkin and Jordan Lewis.
All right, well, here's some votes that we're waiting upon.
All right, votes. Roughhead, 5, Gunston, 4, Hodge, 3, Lake, 2, and 1 to Savage.
That was a good reappearance of the macho man Randy Savage.
It was, mate. It must have been your photo that inspired him last week. Look, I thought for Blake coming the side under the pump, he's back to what he can do, and if he's playing like that, he's definitely in the mix.
It wasn't my picture, it was the music from Nick's record collection.
No, mate, I'd like to echo your thoughts on Savage. I thought he was great. You couldn't squeeze Brownlow medalist Sam Mitchell in for a vote.
Not this week, mate, but I'll be sure to mention him later on.
Talking of Brownlow medalist, Bud, I think you've done your dosh, haven't you?
Yeah, my money's gone now, mate. It was well and truly gone anyway, to be honest. But Virtual, what are they saying, 4 to 6 weeks with the PCL, maybe longer. Bit disappointing. That's our entire half-back line gone now. At the start of the year, probably would have said we'd line up Birchall, Schoenmakers, Suckling. All 3 gone to knees. Thankfully, Birchall's is only a short term. But yeah, it's a bit of a loss for the boys.
Is this a chance for Ellis to cement his spot?
It'll be interesting to see what they do. Ellis, Cheney's the other one, obviously, and Spanger as well has been very good at Box Hill. They may think about bringing him in, playing him more as a traditional centre-half back and letting Gibson play the flankers role.
Right, well, we'll see over coming weeks, won't we? But it's a chance for someone else to step up.
Well, it's sort of been rejigged, that half-back line anyway, since the start of the season. Obviously, Brownlow medalist Sam Mitchell's been coming off half-back, and so that gives us another option in terms of our rebound. I don't know that Schoenmakers was going to be in the mix for the entire season with Lake in the side, and obviously that releases Stratton further up the ground, so I think we'll be okay.
Well, we're into that part of the show. We're looking for a blast, a whack, and a fair suck of the sav.
I've got a blast for you, mate. Don't worry about that. All right, Etihad Stadium. You've got a bloody roof on the joint. How about you put some bloody doors up? Seriously, I've never been so cold at a game of football. I had a lovely reserve seat in the wing. Thought it was perfect until I realised I was sitting in front of a wind tunnel. Bit of common sense with the design. You could block something off, maybe have the wind go around a corner. No, straight through, right where I'm sitting. I rock up, jeans, jumper, should be right under the roof. No, freezing cold. Mate, I was standing when Gus had his shot for goal at the end after the siren. As soon as it went through, I walked out of the joint. It's a shithole. I hate it. Don't like going there. I'd rather go to Waverley. At least Waverley, you knew what you were going to get. It's ridiculous. Forget it. I'm over it. Back to the MCG.
Excellent, Bards. Well, Etihad Stadium was my fair suck of the Sav because why the hell do we play there when we're only got 7 games in Melbourne? It's just not on. Fair suck of the Sav, AFL. Get us back to the G.
And I've got a whack, boys. I had a look at it with interest at the so-called journalists on that back page league during the week and their all-Australian sides at mid-season. And it's just laughable, boys. Last I checked, Hawthorn were 11-1 with a percentage of 143, a game clear in percentage of their nearest rivals, and the best they could find for the Hawks across the board. In fact, 2 or 3 of their sides did not have one Hawthorn player. A couple of them had Roughhead on the bench, which is a joke. He's probably the most valuable player in the AFL. A couple of them had Luke Bruce, and that was pretty much it. And I just think that's a disgrace. If you can fit half a dozen Swans in that side who are 5th on the ladder with 7.5 or 8.5 wins, and you can't find a spot for a Hawk player or the best side in the comp, it's unbelievable.
Hey, the new section of the program that we're about to add, called The Great Debate, and we've decided to bring this in because there's not likely to be any great debate between now and September with the federal election, so we need some sort of form of great debate, and so it's going to be Wedlock, Barden and Howes, and the topic tonight is, should he stay or should he go?
To let me know, should I stay or should I go?
Buddy Franklin.
Well, he should stay, but he will go.
I actually only had the topic because I wanted to play the Clash song.
So all our debates are just going to be based around your record collection.
It's not mine, it's Nick's.
Nick the expat, Nick from Singapore.
That bloke. Let's be serious. So, you're right, Bards, but there's a lot of people still convinced that he's likely to stay because he's got more to achieve. And, you know, I'm looking at a jumper here and it's got a 5-day, 5-night premiership tag to it, and every time he's introduced, it's here he is, Dermot Brereton, 5-day, 5-night premiership player at Hawthorn. Does he damage his brand?
Does he damage his brand? I think the days of player loyalty are long gone, and with the advent of free agency, it's just going to amplify the situation. Fact is, he's going to get $12 million for 6 years, and you can't really blame him if he leaves. My beef is with the pick 20 or thereabouts that we get in compensation.
If he was going for a bit more money, then I think the brand's at risk, but the sort of money they're talking about, if it is in fact what's on offer, no one's going to really begrudge him going for it. Like, that's the thing. I mean, there's going to be thousands of kids with 23 on their back are going to probably cry themselves to sleep, but they'll get on with life after that and they'll find a new favourite player. But yeah, look, I mean, as much as it'd be great to be the one club player and, you know, play out and be the greatest, it's sort of money they're throwing around. It's just ridiculous, really.
Boys, the AFL have come out and said that they don't make any undertakings in terms of their marketing fund until after signatures are on contracts. But the fact of the matter is that it's implied and certainly extremely likely that Franklin then gets to milk the AFL out of $500,000 a year that Hawthorn can't match, let alone the salary package on offer from GWS. I just think that what the AFL have done have created an unfair playing field to push their own agenda, which is to basically continue to franchise the product.
I'll throw another factor into the mix. Wouldn't he go to Gold Coast and take sort of halfway between and still pick up the AFL marketing budget? They've got a better chance of winning a flag than GWS have.
I think that marketing budget's already spent up there, though. That's where they're paying Ablett out of as well, don't forget, and Carmichael Hunt, I guess. Whereas the GWS, if they're going to be successful, they need someone like him. That's why they'll throw the money out. There's no doubt that he's going to get it. The problem with it is, with that sort of money, it's for him to go as a free agent and only receive free agent compensation doesn't match up. It's like he's going to an expansion club like Ablett did, and the compensation should be in line with that. When you're dealing with marketing funds and stuff, there's just no way of possibly matching. That's where the mistake is by the AFL. Free agency is fine, works out good, because what stops it from being a free-for-all is salary caps and the fact that you also open or lose your own players during the time. Well, GWS and Gold Coast won't have anyone available for free agency for 7 years, and in the meantime they've got a free hit with the salary cap as well. There's just no way a club can match. Our advantage is a bit of space in the salary cap when he goes.
It's exactly right, Bards, and make no mistake, the AFL are saying that they're impartial and they don't manipulate these sorts of scenarios and they don't really care which players go to which clubs. But the fact of the matter is, and no disrespect to Callum Ward and Tom Scully, the GWS side does not have a marquee player. It is in the AFL's best interest, and make no mistake, they are manufacturing a scenario whereby they need to have Buddy Franklin at GWS because they're attracting an average crowd of about 6,500 a game, and right now the AFL wouldn't be best pleased with that outcome. They need a marquee player at that club, and Buddy Ablett's the biggest name in football, so make no mistake, the AFL want him there.
Did Adam just say Buddy Ablett?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Well, it'd be a good player, wouldn't it? Did I say Buddy Ablett?
Yeah, right.
You said Buddy Ablett. All right, so I'm going to tail this off with a discussion around recruiting plans, because let's get real. It was about round 16 that Newbolt said to Buddy, that's when we need a decision, and I reckon that's about when they start going, right, now what do we do with $1 million in play? I'm going to ask you a few curly questions here. Did we recruit Brian Lake knowing that we would probably have to play on Buddy?
I don't know. They're about 50-50, aren't they? I think Buddy got hold of him a few times, but Blake probably got him just as many, so it might not be a bad move in the end.
All right, next question. With Buddy leaving, are we going to regret delisting Bo Dowler?
We regret delisting Mitch Thorpe.
Well, maybe we'll pick him back up.
And this one's a bit more serious, to be honest. There's two rerolts out there. One who'd wished he'd won a premiership with a dog ugly style of game at St Kilda, who could be good for a couple of good seasons running out of the square. And there's another bloke looking for about $600,000 who is a good bloke running out of the square. They're both called Rewalt. One's more Tasmanian than the other. Would you go after either of them?
No, I wouldn't, but my opinion is that Nick is a significantly better player than Jack.
I'm in Adam's camp. I wouldn't go after either. I would use the funds to grab an elite young midfielder, prize someone away from a club, and rely on Gunston. Roughhead as it becomes a number one. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Most clubs would be happy with that. And there's a couple of kids in the twos or even in their Box Hill development. Tim O'Brien's one who they can work on developing. Take the spot.
Bart's hit it right on the head, Grant. You look at the age of the Hawthorn midfield, and as great as they are, we need midfield depth, and we need it pretty quickly. We need over the next couple of years. Brian Lake was recruited to help Hawthorn win a flag this year.
So we're looking to win a flag. We're looking to take the $1 million, reinvest into the midfield, and not go down too far and come back and have a successful 10 years. Is that what the plan is?
Well, we were going to have a crack a couple of years ago at Jaeger O'Mara, or O'Meara. I tell you what, I'd be having a bit of a sniff around at Dion Presti. I reckon he's an elite talent on the Gold Coast, and he might be a guy to have at.
Just signed a 4-year contract, I think, Adam. But look, there's definitely players like that. I've mentioned before, Lockie Whitfield at GWS.
Yep.
One that interests me, and I don't know age-wise, is someone like Ryan Griffin from the Bulldogs. He's got a year to go on his contract, so he's a free agent next year. Will the Dogs consider he's probably not going to be there when they're up there? Would they consider a good deal for him this year?
What would they want for him?
A fair bit, I think. Maybe a round pick 20 compensation pick that comes from Buddy going.
He is their best player.
They're probably going to want too much, but that sort of player who's elite talent, probably not much chance of a flag where he is before his time's up. That's another option we can look at.
All right. Well, that was the great debate. All right, Bards, time to introduce From the Backline.
All right, Grant, bit of a few changes this week, mate, and I'll read the side out. From the backline, Ben Stratton, Brian Lake, Taylor Giray. Halfbacks, the Brownlow medalist Sam Mitchell, Josh Gibson, and Luke Hodge. The centres are Isaac Smith making his return, Sean Burgoyne and Bradley Hill. Half forwards, Jack Gunstall, Lance Franklin and Xavier Ellis. And the forward line is Shane Savage, Jared Roughhead and Luke Bruce. Followers are David Hale, Jordan Lewis and Brad Sewell. And the interchange extended for the Sunday game, Jonathan Segler, Cole Cheney, Will Langford, Liam Shields, John Simpkin, Matt Spanger and Brendan Whitecross. The ins are Segler, Cheney, Langford, Smith, Spanger and Whitecross. And the confirmed outs at this stage are Guerra, Birchall and Bailey.
Interesting side.
It is, mate. So we've got Guerra, Birchall and Bailey all out with an injury of some description. Birchall, we know, is out for 4 to 6 with a PCL. Bailey's got a bit of soreness. And I missed what Guerra's was, but I think he got beaten up last week. And yeah, so two new guys there. Jonathan Segler, a 204cm ruckman coming via Collingwood. He's been upgraded from the rookie list this week. And Will Langford, son of the great man.
And they're both rookie listed. That's very, very interesting. They've jumped the pack on some of the guys at Box Hill.
They have, mate. You would imagine that Luke Loudon may feel a little bit aggrieved by that. And also Mitch Hallahan, who's had a ripper season at Box Hill and can't seem to get a look in.
That being said, so's Will Langford, and I expect him to play.
Yeah, Langford's been good. Spanger obviously has been playing really well, so he's back in the mix. Whitecross there, I would think he'd want another game at Box Hill, but there might be a chance to get him right, and if they're hoping to play him against Geelong maybe. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Segler takes Bailey's spot, or we mix it up a bit and maybe give Rufford a bit more ruck time, possibly bring Spanger in and play him forward.
You know what this means, boys? Rioli's playing at Box Hill.
Is he playing or not? I don't know. I haven't seen the Box Hill side. We'll have to have a look.
All right, Adam, so how do we win this game against the cat killers, the Brisbane Lions?
How don't we win this game, boys? Let's be honest. And I know they beat Geelong, and fair play to them, and they're an honest football team, the Lions, but honestly, boys, how do we not beat them down at Aurora? I can't see anywhere on the ground that Brisbane give us trouble. I think they've got some very good players, though. Simon Black's still an elite talent. Zorko's a great player. Patfield's a very good footballer. But, gee, I tell you what, if we don't win this by 10 goals, we're not serious, are we?
I agree, mate. As good as they were last week, they're well and truly a class below us, and I expect we may even freshen a couple of blokes up this week, but still take it as a pretty important hit out prior to Geelong the week after. So, looks like there may be a bit of rain around in Tassie. Just looking ahead, which might pull the margin back a little bit. Wind's the biggest thing down there, and it doesn't look too bad. So I would think we take care of them fairly comfortably.
So margin, Bards?
48 points.
Adam?
And even 10 goals for me.
I'm just going with 5 goals.
All right, we'll see what happens on the weekend.
All right, well, after our first great debate, another successful show with the Brownlow medalist Sammy Mitchell rule. So, go Hawks!
Go Hawks!